Hello everyone and welcome to my Party Shioriko kind of quick review. First we have new Shioriko card, Party card, who is a cool SP type, cool SP filler, and we have another card who is Yo, Smile Voltage type with the skill Voltage Plus, and then we have No Brown Goes Umi. So this cool SP filler Shioriko right here. This is our first limited cool SP filler in the game, because two other SP fillers in this game are Steam Maiden Hanamaru and I forgot the name, but it was Ruby. It was Ruby, and with a pretty typical school idol costume when idolized, and when unidolized she is in the idol shop enjoying and buying things from the idol shop. Yeah, that one. Anyway, this Shioriko right here, she power creeped Pani Kanata once again. Her stats is around 12k appeal. It's around the same as Party Kanata. Her technique is actually lower than Party Kanata, but what makes her stronger in terms of stats than Party Kanata is her passive right here. She has Fast Kanan's passive, which is appeal and technique increase both. Appeal and technique increase, a dual passive, but better because Party cards have level 7 passive instead of level 5. So it's just this OP passive right here that settles the difference between Party Kanata and Party Shioriko. Because Party Kanata's passive was appeal plus same attribute, so it only affects elegant only. And what makes the even bigger difference is her LSA right here. Her LSA grants 15% SP gauge gain increase to same strategy for the entire appeal chance, so from appeal chance start to appeal chance end, and it has a 100% guaranteed rate. Now, when you're playing SP meta, you want to focus on SP as much as possible. That's like the driving force of SP meta. And we look at Party Kanata's skill right here. Okay, it grants 30% of her own appeal as voltage when you proc SP. This skill LSA can bypass voltage cap because it's voltage generation after all, Rio Plus, but it's just not SP focused. And when you're playing SP meta, you really want to focus on SP as much as possible. You really don't want like a separate way of breaking the cap like this. And so, in fact, the amount of voltage generated from this it's not even as good as if you simply just focus on SP anyway. But I need to before you kind of overestimate her LSA, I should tell you about this. SP gauge gain increase, you look at the icon right here. So this one is like a big SP plus, while this one is like you see the basically the half of a circle up, and then a smaller SP one right here. Yeah, this skill right here is kind of superior to this skill, because this big SP plus icon right here, it only affects your taps. So 15% increase, it does not affect this right here. So this skill generates 9% of your SP gauge. It's not increased by 15% even if this thing is in effect. So this skill is not as good as you think. That's one point. And the other point is, if we compare it to Fast Rico's skill right here. Yeah, Fast Rico increases her own skill activation rate by 30% whenever she procs SP. And it's only for 3 nodes, and it only affects herself, so that means it actually only affects her next tap. It doesn't affect 2 other frontliners. But still, even this, after this, Fast Rico is still better than Shioriko. I mean, just if we just look at her LSA, okay? But if we look at their stats, then of course Shioriko is better than Fast Rico. Shioriko has crit sense, but Riko doesn't. And when you approach end game, like if you want to go for SP meta, you always kind of want maximum break stats. And when you reach maximum break, it's still better to have crit sense than have high appeal like this, because by then you will be relying on hitting crit notes to hit the cap. And especially if you are not a mega whale, you're just like maybe like a low spender, or when you just play a long time and you finally get yourself hands on a SP filler, you're going to brute force with these SP fillers. And when you brute force with them, their appeal, their effective appeal is really a problem. They are really have a hard time hitting the cap. So you really want as much effective appeal, as much appeal boost as you can. And at that point, Shioriko has a better passive, and Shioriko also has a crit sense, which means more crits, which means more hitting the cap more consistently. But right now, if we just compare their LSAs, Fast Riko actually has a better LSA than Party Shioriko. And I'll show you that in numbers right here. So let's say a song has 180 notes and has 4 ACs. Now, I don't really like including Fast Riko's AC calculation into Fast Riko's LSA right here, because in real, when you enter an AC, you always want to enter with full gauge. And usually when you tap an SP, you have a high chance of clearing the SP if you tap your SP. So that means clearing your AC immediately after proccing your SP, and then immediately getting the effects of bracelet, and then proccing your SP one more time. So basically you burst your SP twice. But the problem of doing so, per LSA, if you burst your SP twice, instead of the way this skill works is it gives 3 notes. 3 notes, it gives 30% increase. It increases, like in 3 notes, instead of increases to 30%, it increases the skill rate by 60%. So they stack in this manner if you burst your SP twice. But the problem is this is actually not favorable. Like stacking like this, it's because the skill activation rate has a cap of 70%. Normally a card already have like 0.33, the rate of 0.33 times of skill activation rate. If you increase it by 0.3, it becomes like 0.63. But you increase by another 0.3, it's gonna go over 0.7. So it's gonna get capped at 0.7. So the second increase from Riko's LSA is not as good. And not only that, it doesn't increase the notes, like how long it lasts. So it will only, if you burst your SP twice, the effect will become, in the stand of in 3 notes, it will increase by 60%. But the 60% will be limited by skill activation rate anyway. But the 3 notes doesn't become 6 notes, it just stay at 3 notes, the duration. And once you tap Riko the next time, this effect is gone. So stacking her LSA like this in this manner is not good. So in my own calculation, I don't want to include this AC into her own calculation, into Riko's calculation. I hope you understand what I mean. I hope. Even if you don't, but it's okay. You can still proceed with this video, and you can still like get the take home message. But this 4 AC I mentioned right here because it's important in Party Shioriko's calculation. But anyway, 180 notes. In a single note, we will get 200 SP. So times 200, this is how much you get just by tapping. And the gauge is 6,000. So 6. We get 6 SP worth just by tapping normally, tapping every single note. And I don't want to count any SP merit or bond board and everything. It just makes things even more complicated. But even if we don't calculate that, Fast Riko still has a better LSA than Party Shioriko. 6 SP proc, and if we include like her tap skill right here, normally 9% of SP gauge for 180 notes, it will actually grant another 1.8 SP gauge. But so if we make it more realistic, maybe like SP timings and everything, we kind of round it up to 8. So 8 SP. Let's assume all of Riko's LSA. I know it only increases by 30%, it's not guaranteed, but let's say it guarantees, like Riko will always activate her SP next time when her LSA activates. So 8 times 540. 540 is actually the 9%. So this 9% right here, it causes her to proc like 8 extra times of her tap skill. So 9% is 540, so 8 times 540 equals this much. So we know that from her LSA, she generates an average amount of this much, 4,320 SP from her LSA. And next, we look at Party Shioriko. Wait, where is she? She's actually up there, right? Yeah, why did I scroll down? Let's see, next we look at Party Shioriko right here. So 15% SP gauge increase for the rest of the AAC. So let's say a song has 4 ACs, and actually let's put it this way. In the 180 notes, in the song with 180 notes, let's say half of the song is AC. So 90 notes. There's 90 notes in this song is in AC, which means this 90 notes right here gets the 15% SP gauge gain increase times 15%, not times 50%, sorry. 90 notes, so 200 times 15%, yes. This 30 notes, so if Shioriko's LSA is active, we gain 30 extra XP per tap. And then we times it by 90. This is the amount we get from her LSA on average, 2,700. And we can see that it's not as good as Fast Riko's LSA, 4,320 compared to 2,700. But at least it's not nothing. It's still SP focused, and it's any kind of SP we get is still very nice. It's still very good. And in fact, looking at Shioriko's like OP stat, it's really just a small hindrance. Like, it's really trifling, and you don't really need to care about her slightly weaker LSA compared to Fast Riko when her stats and passive is just this good. But I hope it gives you a little bit of knowledge of how her LSA works and comparing it to Fast Riko. Anyway, next is Yo. Yo is pretty typical. 40 voltage plus. This skill right here it breaks cap, and it's always the best skill to have on a voltage type. And this is actually our first small voltage scorer with this skill right here, and it's the limited one. I mean, of course, that the non-limited one we have this skill, voltage scorer with this skill, of course, but I'm talking about the limited ones, Fast or Party. Like all the other Fast or Party small scorers, they don't have this skill right here. And this is still game breaking, because that means, I mean, it just makes Yo an even better choice to pull. And to go with this OP SP filler right here, this banner just becomes godlike. It's like, yeah, a must pull. I know K-Lab just released two strong banners, and then they released this banner that's even stronger than the two banners right there. But still, it's just, I guess what can we say? At least we still have to pull this, because this one is just that strong. Her passive is appeal and stamina increase. Well, stamina increase is actually not that desirable on a voltage scorer, but we'll take what we can get, okay? Because it's party, it's appeal plus all, and it's party. That means level 7 passive, so it's stronger than the other appeal plus all passive. But the problem is her LSA. Her LSA increases appeal of all members by 5% for only 5 notes when you clear an appeal chance. So the only 5 notes part is the problem. Like, it's what makes her a weaker backliner than our typical backliners, current typical backliners like Fast Kanata, Initial Kanan, and Magical Nozomi. She is not as good as them at backlining, so you still want to use those 3 for your typical backline. But if you don't have any more backlines than those 3, then maybe you can start using her, because her passive is is pretty powerful. And if you're actually not using her in the front line. But anyway, pretty typical. Just your right here. And this banner overall is a little bit too powerful in my opinion. And this, if you're not drop polling this like right now, I think you should be saving for 2nd anniversary, because these 2 cards are just too strong to be ignored. So anyway, that concludes my quick review right here. I don't think it's very quick, but I hope you understand more about these 2 cards, and I'll see you next time.